Sometimes we make the process of building wealth much more difficult than it needs to be. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 tips, 10 guidelines that if you implement will get you down the path to start building wealth. So let's go ahead and jump right in with number one, and that is creating a budget. See, a lot of us think that we can track what we're spending on a monthly basis just in our head. But whenever we're not writing things down and actually tracking it closely, there's a lot of things that slip through the cracks. And I can tell you that when most people put a budget in place and they start following it, they're really surprised on where they're actually spending their money. Because when you're spending $5 here, $20 there, they're small amounts, and over the course of a month can add up to a much larger number. So what I typically tell people that have never put a personal budget in place before is to go with a 75-15-10 approach. And essentially what that is, 75% of every dollar that you bring home is going to go towards things such as your house payment or your mortgage, your car payment, groceries, cell phone bills, things of that nature. And then 15% is going to go towards investments, and whether that's in stocks, real estate, investing in yourself. And then 10% is going to go towards savings. And that's a pretty good way to actually get started with budgeting. And then once you find out how much you're actually spending on a monthly basis, you can kind of tweak those numbers to fit your needs. But I talk a lot about on this channel about putting a budget in place. It's often one of the very first things that I talk about because I think it is that important to get your game plan in place. Tip number two is investing in your company sponsored 401k. Now, over the last few years, I've seen a lot of videos on social media where there are people saying, hey, investing in your 401k is not the best place to invest your cash for long-term growth. I disagree. I think that a 401k is a good place to park cash. Now, I would say that it's not the only place that you should be investing, but you should absolutely take advantage of every investment account, every investment opportunity that you have. And on top of that, contributing to your 401k reduces the amount of taxes that you have to pay every single month. So is it the only place that you should be investing? No, but you absolutely should be taking advantage of every investing opportunity that you have. Tip number three is keeping your car payment in check. Now, I believe that you should be in that 10 to 12% of your monthly take-home pay that's allocated towards paying for your car. Now, that includes your car payment, maintenance, insurance, gas, everything. And the reason that I like that 10 to 12% is because it's not going to impact your ability to do the things that you need to do to start building wealth. 10 to 12% may not be a lot based on the amount of money that you make every single month, but staying in that range is going to give you the most amount of flexibility to build wealth. Tip number four is keeping your living expenses under 20 to 25% of your monthly take-home pay. Now, this is an area that eats up most people's budgets. Our living expenses are usually the largest expenses that we have. But one of the things that I've learned over the course of my life is that if I've been able to keep my living expenses as low as possible, it's given me so much flexibility to be able to do the things that I want to do. If you live in a more expensive city, it may be more difficult for you to stay within this range, but if you have an opportunity to get a roommate, downsize, move back home, or just move to a whole new city that's actually going to be cheaper for you to live in, those are all options that are available to you. Now, I know for most people, it's not going to be practical to just pick up and move, but when we talk about building wealth, your living expenses are a fixed expense that are not going to go away. A lot of the things that we have to pay on a month-to-month basis may be a little bit more variable, but our living expenses are usually fixed. This is an area that I've always focused on, and I've been able to keep my living expenses under 20% of my monthly take-home pay. Tip number five is avoiding credit card debt. In my 20s, I was in a lot of credit card debt. It took me a lot of time to get out of that debt. And once I got out, I made a promise to myself that I would never put myself in that position ever again. Now, I will say that I use credit cards every single month. I pay every bill that I can, except for my mortgage, on my credit card, and I pay it off in full every single month. If you're able to do the same with credit cards, then you'll be fine. But if you're someone who charges on a credit card and you often carry a balance, then a credit card's probably not for you. It's one of the easiest ways that you get into debt that holds you back from being able to build wealth. I know people that have $10, $20, $30, $40,000 worth of credit card debt, and it's gonna take them years to actually pay that back because of the amount of interest that they have to pay every single month. If you are someone that's carrying credit card debt, make paying that off your number one priority. Tip number 6 is continuing to educate yourself. Now, for most of us, after we graduate from high school or college, we don't pick up another book and read for the rest of our life. Now, we may pick up a book here and there, but it's not something that we typically take seriously. One of the things that you want to make sure that you continue to do is educate yourself, especially from a financial perspective. Now, a couple of books that I would recommend that everybody go check out is The Richest Man in Babylon, The Millionaire Next Door, and Atomic Habits. These 3 books will provide you with a solid foundation and help you to start to change your mindset on how to build wealth. Tip number 7 is investing in the stock market. So we talked about investing in your company sponsored 401k. Now we want to talk about investing in your own individual brokerage account. I started investing in a brand new portfolio right here on this channel back in January of 2024. And I did that for several reasons. I wanted to show people how easy it was to get started with investing and that you didn't need a lot of money to get started with investing. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out any of those videos, I'll leave a link down in the description so you can go over and check those out. Tip number 8 is increasing your income. Now, we live in the era of the side hustle, and I think sometimes that can be intimidating to some people, but having a side hustle could be a business that you start out of your home office. It could be working an additional 10 to 15 hours at a second job. Whatever it is, it's just additional income above and beyond what you're making from your 9 to 5. It could be as low as $100 a month. It could be $500 a month. Whatever you're able to bring in that can help to supplement the money that you're making from your 9 to 5 is the goal. And that money could be used to help pay down debt, or it could be used to invest or to save. Tip number 9 is having an emergency fund. Now, a lot of people are all over the map on this. I've heard and seen where some people say, hey, you should only have 3 months worth of monthly expenses in a high yield savings account. And some people will say, hey, you need to have 12 months. I'm somewhere in the middle. If you're someone that is okay taking more risk, you may only have 3 months worth of liquid cash. And if you're someone that doesn't like taking risk and you want to be a little bit more conservative, you may have 12 months in a high yield savings account. That's completely up to you. But just having liquid cash available in the event of emergency, you need a new tire, there's a medical emergency, whatever it may be, you need to have money on hand that's going to prevent you from using a credit card and going into debt to pay for that emergency. Whatever it is, you don't have to go into debt to get what you need. And that's important. And tip number 10 is making sure that you go in periodically and review and evaluate all of the things that you're doing to ensure that you're staying on track to hit your goals. That's it, guys. 10 tips that you can implement that make building wealth much easier than I think a lot of people think it is. I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about the tips that I laid out in this video? Do you think they're easy? Do you think it's hard? I think that if you're able to implement these things, you have no issues with building wealth. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.